Today, we're diving into a story from the Book of Acts that seriously plays out like a high-stakes legal thriller. It's a story of faith, for sure, but it's also a fascinating look at Roman law, political games, and just how tangled up justice can get. Let's get right into it.
And really, the whole thing boils down to this one question. You've got one man, the Apostle Paul, a Roman citizen who's been locked up, and he's up against these powerful religious leaders and the entire legal machine of the Roman Empire. And as you're about to see, this conflict doesn't just stay local. No, this thing is going all the way to the top.
So our story kicks off with a classic political headache. A brand new Roman governor, a guy named Porcius Festus, has just shown up in Judea. And what does he inherit on day one? Not a welcome basket, but a 2-year-old mess his predecessor either couldn't or frankly wouldn't solve. A prisoner named Paul.
Let's just put this timeline into perspective for a second. Paul has already been in prison for 2 whole years under the last governor, Felix. So when Festus takes over, he almost immediately heads to Jerusalem. And what's the first thing the local leaders want to talk about? It's not a welcome party, that's for sure. It's their old beef with Paul. This tells you that after 2 years, the opposition hasn't cooled off one bit. And this really gets to a core truth in this story. The old governor Felix, his indecision didn't make the problem go away. It just let it fester. Now, the problem he dodged has blown up into a full-blown crisis for the new guy, Festus.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about some legal disagreement. Nope. The Jewish leaders have a secret, and it's a whole lot deadlier.
So on the surface, the request seems pretty reasonable, right? Hey, let's just move the trial to Jerusalem, the center of our law. But the text is crystal clear. This is not a legal request. It is a trap. The real plan? Ambush and murder Paul while he's on the road. This is the same deadly plot they tried 2 years earlier. Their determination is just as strong.
But Festus just says no. Now, he's not getting some divine revelation or anything. He's just being a by-the-book Roman official. His thinking is, the prisoner is in Caesarea, the Roman capital, so the trial stays in Caesarea. And just like that, by simply following procedure, he accidentally wrecks their whole murder plot. It's an amazing example of how divine protection can work through people who have no idea they're even a part of the plan.
Okay, so with the ambush off the table, Festus gets right down to business. The very next day in Caesarea, he sits down on the judge's bench, bangs the gavel, and the trial is officially underway.
So Paul's accusers come up from Jerusalem, and they lay it on thick. The charges are described as many and serious, but their entire case has a massive fatal flaw, and the source material points it out directly. They had zero proof. It was all talk, all accusations, with nothing to back it up.
And Paul's defense in response? It's a masterclass in getting straight to the point. He just cuts through all the noise with a simple 3-part denial. He says, look, I haven't broken Jewish law, I haven't defiled the temple, and I've certainly committed no crime against Rome. It's direct, it's factual, and it covers all the bases.
And now we get to the big turning point in the whole story. I mean, with a case built on nothing, the verdict should be pretty simple, right? Well, this is where politics shows up to ruin everything.
See, Festus is in a tough spot. He's the new governor, and he really wants to get on the good side of the powerful local leaders. He knows there's no real case against Paul, but he tries to do the Jews a favor by suggesting a compromise. Hey, Paul, how about we just move this whole thing to Jerusalem? Paul knows immediately what this is, a political move that could easily get him killed.
And Paul's response completely changes the game. He sees the trap and he plays his trump card, his rights as a Roman citizen. He respectfully but firmly stands his ground and delivers the line that flips the whole script. I appeal to Caesar.
So what did that actually mean? Well, for a Roman citizen, the appeal to Caesar was this incredibly powerful legal move. It was like hitting a giant stop button on all the local court proceedings and immediately transferring the case to the highest court in the entire empire, the emperor himself. It was Paul's way of saying, I'm not going to get a fair trial here, so I'm taking this to the boss.
After a quick huddle with his legal advisors, Festus really has no choice. The law is the law. He delivers the verdict, the case is now completely out of his hands, and Paul's journey to Rome has just become inevitable.
But Paul's brilliant legal move creates a brand new and very awkward problem for Governor Festus. He might have dodged one political bullet, but now he's got a massive bureaucratic headache. And right on cue, some royal visitors show up. King Agrippa II and his sister Bernice. Now, this is a big deal, because Agrippa is known as an expert on all things related to Jewish law and customs.
and Festus immediately sees a golden opportunity to get some much-needed advice.
And get this, as Festus is explaining the whole convoluted situation to King Agrippa, he makes this incredible admission. He says basically, look, I've investigated this myself, and I found he had done nothing that deserves the death penalty. This makes his next problem even more ridiculous.
You can just imagine Festus at his desk, head in his hands. He has to send Paul to Rome, that's step 1. But Roman law, step 2, says he has to send along a scroll officially explaining the charges. And that's where he hits step 3, the problem. Since all the accusations were just unproven religious arguments, he has no actual official crime to write down. As Festus himself puts it, it's just plain unreasonable to send a prisoner all the way to the emperor without being able to say what he's accused of. From a Roman legal standpoint, the whole situation is absurd.
So he turns to King Agrippa for help. The upcoming hearing isn't another trial, that ship has sailed. Think of it more as a fact-finding mission. The whole goal is just to listen to Paul speak and see if, between the two of them, they can figure out something official-sounding to write down on that scroll for Caesar. And that's where we leave it. A man who the governor himself believes is innocent is about to stand before a king. Not to determine his guilt, but to help his jailers figure out what to charge him with. You can't make this stuff up. The stage is set for one of the most powerful moments in the entire book of Acts. So what happens when a prisoner with no crime stands before a king?